Hi guys, and welcome to Best of Birth Worlds. My name is Kayla Natalie, and I am a birth doula. A few weeks ago, I came across a podcast episode of two women. They were talking about how they did not want to hear birth stories, and that really got me thinking, I'm gonna make a podcast where it's all women telling their birth story. So that is what this podcast is going to be about. This is going to be a ton of different women's stories, a ton of different women's experiences, a ton of different people's experiences, and I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this. We are going to have other birth workers on this podcast, which I'm very, very excited about. I've reached out to a few of them. I'm still waiting to hear back, but I'm so excited to hear all of people's stories, whether that be their birth stories or their experience on labor and delivery. And if you guys have any suggestions on who you want to see on my podcast, go over to my Instagram stories and type that into the box. Today's episode is all going to be about me and who I am. Hi, I'm Kayla Natalie. I have been a content creator for 7 years, and I cannot believe that it's already been 7 years. It feels like it flew by, but I am also a mom of 3. After I gave birth to my third baby is really where I became honestly obsessed with birth. During my pregnancy, I really knew that I wanted to experience an unmedicated birth, and so I did so much research on physiological birth. I did so much research on unmedicated birth tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff, and so I learned a lot over the course of those 9 months and after I gave birth, and I realized that there is a lot of work to be done in labor and delivery. I experienced birth trauma, and I will probably go into that on the next episode of like all of the birth trauma that I experienced. I have always been very fascinated with pregnancy, birth, postpartum, all of that kind of jazz. And so when I gave birth to my last baby and I realized that there was a huge need for birth doulas, I was like, sign me up. So I immediately started talking about birth and my experience, and I realized that it resonated with a lot of people, and so that's where my passion started. I started telling my story online, and it was resonating with so many people, and I just couldn't believe it. And so in that moment, I was like, wow, I may have actually started something that I could be doing for the rest of my life. And over the next year, things for becoming a doula and how to become a doula, I had no clue where to even start to become a doula. So I researched and I found this one company, and I decided to get my certification with them, and it was a really great experience. I am obviously going to keep continuing education, and I'm hoping to start a few different courses this next coming few months, and I'm really excited about that. But that's really where my passion for birth really started. It started during my first delivery in 2017. That's when I had my first baby. And then I really got into it in 2022 when I gave birth to my third baby. And that was just, it fueled a fire that I needed under my ass, to be honest with you. It really fueled a fire, and I needed that. So that is how I got started in labor and delivery. So hi, my name is Kayla Natalie. I am a mom, I am a wife, I'm a birth doula, and I'm a content creator. And if you guys have any other questions, suggestions, if you want to see any people on this podcast, head over to my Instagram, which is Kayla Natalie Doula, and on my stories, there's a little question box that I will have over there. So if you have any suggestions of who you want to see on this podcast, go over there and input that over on my Instagram stories. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast episode. I am so glad to see you over here. This is the Best of Birth Worlds podcast. I am Kayla Natalie, and I am your doula at your cervix.